Have you ever felt stress, doubt, and anxiety when you face the pressures of life between your career or business, your family, trying to take care of yourself, trying to be a good Muslim, everything else that you have going on inside of your life? If you have, this video is for you because I'm going to show you the 4-step journaling process I've used to optimize my mental health and get organized around all 4 key quadrant areas of my life so I can produce better results across all 4 and therefore be the best Muslim, the best businessman, the best family member, and the best bodybuilder that I could possibly be. Now, you don't have to want to be a bodybuilder. If you just want to be in shape, this is going to work for you. That's kind of what most people want. Not many people want to be a bodybuilder, but a lot of people want to be in shape, and I'm going to show you how to do that and achieve greater success across everything inside this video. And by the end, inshallah, you're going to have a specific 4-step actionable process that you can implement today or tomorrow morning within the next 24 hours to optimize your mental health, bring your anxiety and stress down instantly, and become a happier, healthier version of you for the benefit of your family, for the benefit of your connection with Allah, and obviously for the benefit of your business, your finances, and your own personal health, longevity, and fitness. So hopefully that gets you excited and enthusiastic for this video, and at least as excited and enthusiastic as I am, because I have a slideshow for you. We're gonna pop into my 4-step journaling process that I use to optimize my mental health daily, which allows me to become a better businessman, bodybuilder, family member, and of course, the most important part, a better Muslim. So, how did this whole thing come about? I'm going to go into a brief story. In 2019, my second year as an entrepreneur, I faced a lot of triggers. I had fear, I had stress, I had anxiety around money, around team members, around staff, around clients, around marketing, around sales, around fulfillment, around operations, around literally everything. And there was this immense pressure to produce so I could meet my expenses every single week, every single month, and ultimately serve my clients at the highest level without burning out and without neglecting my other priorities in life. And if you're a business owner, professional, or parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about because there is a lot of responsibility that you face across your business, your career, or across raising your kids, or a combination of the above, and there's stress and pressure associated with that. And you might relate with what I went through. You probably relate with this if that's you, where you might be feeling triggered all the time, where you feel kind of irritable, angry, stressed out, tired, depressed. And at least for me, I got out of shape and I felt depressed and anxious every single day and super stressed. And when I would get triggered, especially like angry or irritable, or I was mad that something didn't go the way I wanted, I would treat others poorly, especially those closest to me. And I was showing up unproductive and inefficient to my business, which made me that much more inefficient. So then I had to work more, which made me have even less time. It was just a downward spiral into depression, anxiety, and chronic compounding stress. So, alhamdulillah, in 2019, I found 2 mentors, Lynn Trin and Garrett J. White, who are immensely helpful with this entire thing. And I was able to create a process for myself and a combined journaling practice using their principles as well as the principle of Islam that I've continued to evolve over the years. And this process allows me to optimize my mental health. And as a result of my mental health improving, obviously I feel closer with Allah and more present while I'm praying and reading Qur'an. And I also have more time to study the Qur'an, understand what the Qur'an actually means, because I used to just go through the motions but I didn't understand Arabic, but now I'm actually learning. And I highly recommend it if you don't know Arabic, at least learn Surah Al-Fatiha and a lot of other surahs in the Qur'an, because there's immense power in the words of the Qur'an. And when you recite them and you actually know the meaning, it's extremely powerful. I remember I used to hear like, the uncles, and they'd be like, oh, the Qur'an makes me feel so good. And I'd be like, I know what you mean because I love how it sounds, but I didn't understand the meaning of the Qur'an. And alhamdulillah, now I'm starting to understand, and it makes such a difference. And I know that if you're watching this right now and maybe you don't speak Arabic, you might be relating with the same thing where you're like, oh, who's this uncle? Not that I'm an uncle, I'm pretty young, but who's this dude who's trying to tell me to read the Qur'an? Trust me, read the Qur'an is going to make a big difference. At least learn the meaning of Surah Al-Fatiha and understand the deeper meaning. But anyways, before I go on a tangent with that, because that's a whole video in and of itself, inshallah, it's also allowed me to get back in shape and be happy, healthy, energetic, and confident, and as a result of improving my body. Because obviously if you're tired and triggered and you're unorganized, you're not going to be able to create the time to go to the gym and eat healthy. Now, it's also allowed me to feel relaxed, happy, productive, focused, grateful, alhamdulillah, and it's allowed me to treat my family better. Not that I'm married or have kids yet, but inshallah, I'm going to use this process even more when I am married and have kids, inshallah, because this is what it takes to be the best father and husband that I could possibly be, and that's what I'm committed to in the vision of the Muslim man that I want to become, inshallah. And it's allowed me to treat my parents better, my employees, my coworkers when I was working a part-time job while building my business, and of course my clients, my prospects, everybody better. And obviously it's allowed me to make more money and be more productive and less stressed in business, and it's going to help you to do the exact same thing, inshallah. Whether you're working in a business or you own the business, it's going to make you better, inshallah, and therefore make more money. So the first step of this journaling process is you got to audit the 4 main quadrants of your life. So the Garrett J. White model, and you can go study him if you want, it's kind of more geared towards Christians, but the principles are highly applicable, and I've gotten a ton of value from it. So Garrett J. White's amazing, and I love him as a mentor, alhamdulillah. So he calls it body, being, balance, and business, right? So I've basically just taken the same thing in the modern Muslim man method model, the M5, which, we start with faith because that's really important as Muslims. We always got to prioritize faith. And this was hard in the beginning. And sometimes it's still a challenge because a lot of times I get dragged into business, right? Especially when, expenses are high and I'm trying to make payroll and all that stuff. Not that I'm behind on payroll ever. Alhamdulillah, I've never been behind on payroll, but certainly there's a certain amount of pressure that I've experienced knowing that I have payroll coming up and to make sure I'm good for it, right? And I don't have to dig into my personal savings. Now, obviously, family is very important. Now, obviously, being a single Muslim right now, finances are the greater priority for me to establish, financial abundance for the future family that I have. But obviously, family is very important. And for the Muslim parents who are my clients, we prioritize family because if you're fighting a war at home because you don't have a good relationship with your wife or husband or your kids, and you're trying to run a business, it's not going to work because you're fighting a war at home and you're fighting a war out in the world. So if you're fighting a war out in the world, so to speak, and that's some Gerja White language right there, you got to make sure the family life is intact and also for the sake of Allah. So it ties back in with faith. And here's a beautiful thing is all four of these domains tie in with each other. If you're out of shape, you're going to be tired, triggered, depressed, not feel good, not feel confident, not feel energetic. It's going to affect your marriage. It's going to affect your kids. They're not going to look up to you as a role model. You're going to be inefficient in your business. And, ultimately, you're going to be tired when you're trying to pray. And you're not going to be able to pray and be present the way that you could if your body was healthy and you took care of the body Allah gave you, right? And then obviously, if you're not being a good Muslim, you might see financial success, but you're going to feel empty. You might seem like you have a good marriage on the surface, but there's going to be little things that are not going right. You might feel like you're raising your kids right, but it's not going to be the same as if you raise them with Islamic values in an Islamic household. And, if your finances aren't good, you're going to be triggered around your family and nothing's going to really work too well. And you're not going to have money to invest in organic food. And, obviously you're going to be very stressed. So it's going to be hard to, but actually sometimes, going through periods of being broke can actually make you closer to Allah, and that's one of the hidden blessings. But also periods of financial abundance can make you closer to Allah because you have more time to read Qur'an, and obviously, you as long as you practice gratitude and humility to Allah for your financial success, very important. Because remember, all the success that you have comes from Allah, and Allah can take it away in a second. That's something I remind myself of a lot because I'm self-aware of my tendency for my ego to get big, and so obviously I use prayer for multiple purposes, mostly for the purpose of the akhirah, of course, but one of the dunya benefits keeps you humble and hopeful. So again, you can see these things all affect each other. And then lastly, the Lin Trin model of journaling is where am I at? What are my triggers, fears, doubts, hesitations, anxieties, and how can I dominate today, right? So what we do is we combine all of these things. So what we do is we want to write 1 to 2 sentences for how am I doing with my mental health and my faith right now. So faith, I lump it together with mental health because, Gerja White model, we use being, right? So when he says being, he means your spirituality, your mental health, your faith, all these things, your state of being, right? So this is very important that we account for this, and I put this under the category of faith. But of course, mental health is its own thing, so you might want to write 2 or 3 sentences for this instead of just 1 to 2. And you can write longer than that, but obviously if you have a tendency to be long-winded and you don't want this journaling process to take 2 hours, sometimes you got to practice brevity here. But obviously if you struggle to write, then push yourself to do 1 to 2 sentences, right? Now for family, same thing. Do a quick 1 to 2 sentence audit. Again, there's no hard boundary on how much you can write, but certainly you want to be reasonable where it's not too little, it's not too much. Okay, so experiment that for yourself, but I usually find 1 to 3 sentences is optimal for all 4 of these categories, so I'm not spending all day writing. Finances, so where are you at? So you obviously want to go with the facts. So what numbers in your bank account? What's your net cash? I use this app called Truebill, which tells me, what my net cash is between all my accounts, which is great. Alhamdulillah. And then obviously within fitness, how am I doing my body? Where's my weight, my waist size? And if you have tangible metrics, these are very easy to quantify because finances is money. So where are your expenses? Where's your cash flow at? Where's your bank account at? Where's your business at for the month, for the quarter, for the year, right? And obviously other metrics such as client satisfaction scores, customer satisfaction scores, staff KPIs that you're tracking. There's a number of different tracking metrics that you'll have specific to your business. So I won't go too deep into this, but obviously what your numbers are in your business. And if you don't, you better figure that out because that's why you're so stressed and anxious is you're operating on feelings and not facts. Okay, you need to operate on facts in business, very important. And then same with fitness, we want to operate on facts. Weight and waist size, calories, whatever other KPIs you're tracking, very, very important. And obviously, if you have more questions, just drop a comment. The purpose of this video isn't to go super deep in this stuff, but if you have any specific questions, please drop a comment. I'm happy to answer it with either another video or in the comments, inshallah. And then, so once you've audited these areas and written a sentence for each one, I also want you to write what are your triggers, fears, doubts, hesitations, anxieties, and how can you dominate today? And again, if you have questions on this, let me know. 1 to 2 sentences for each one. From there, again, we go into how can you dominate today? So how do you crush your goals and become the happiest, best version of yourself today while achieving your goals? So that's where you plan it out, you time block it in. Number 3, you got to execute. You got to take action on those time blocks. And then number 4, you got to reflect. So I personally like to go for a walk at night, but you can also journal this if you prefer. And that's essentially the process that I follow. And every single day, I try my best to get this done, and if I do it at least 3 to 5 days a week, my mental health is optimized in addition to my 5 daily prayers. If I skip this and I do it less than 3 to 5 days a week, then I start to notice that my fear, doubt, anxiety, and hesitation and stress start to creep up, and I start to feel really crappy, and I start to feel the need to go for more walks, which is great because walking is great. But obviously, if I'm walking and procrastinating on getting things done in the business, then it's best that I get clear on my mental health, because a lack of clarity is what creates procrastination and lack of action. So it's so important that you get yourself clear every single day. This is one of the greatest lessons I learned from Lynn and Garrett, alhamdulillah, that I've been able to apply to myself and my clients. So a couple frequently asked questions, and obviously if you have questions, more questions, drop them down below. But these are some questions I anticipate that I typically get when people ask me about journaling. So should you write it in a journal or should you type it out? I personally prefer digital, but sometimes I like writing. I've done both, and it's totally a personal preference. It's just a matter of what's going to be easiest and best for you. What do you get the most benefit out of? So experiment it for yourself, and then you'll know. But start with whatever's easier so you actually build the habit first. Now, if you don't have a business or you don't have kids, you can still use this for whatever challenge you're facing. If you're a student, right, you can write this out. If you have issues with your parents and you're living with your parents and maybe you're 16, you can journal this out. Or if you're 65 and you feel disconnected from your family because you raised them and they're being ungrateful, then ultimately, this is another thing you can use. And, and God forbid that that's you and that you're in that situation. I hope that if you're 65, that you poured into your family and that they were receptive and grateful for it and that they're taking care of you, alhamdulillah, and may Allah make it easy for you, inshallah. And the last question is, what if I don't have time? Okay, well, this is going to help you make time. Okay, that's the whole purpose. And this is the whole reason why people get overwhelmed, is that they don't take the time to get clear and organized, and therefore they procrastinate. They don't take action. They don't get things done. They have poor boundaries on their time. So they're answering texts in the middle of the night from staff, clients, bosses, whatever else. And look, you might be in a season in your business where you have to be very reactive, but you don't want to be reactive. If corporations ran all reactive, they would all fall to the ground. The reason why you want to be proactive and structured, even if it takes some discipline and it's a pain in the butt to get into the habit of doing so, is the pain you experience on the front end is going to save you so much pain on the back end. Same thing with prayer. If you pray 5 times a day and you follow 5 pillars of Islam, take some discipline. It's difficult. There's temptations you're going to have to avoid in life, but guess what? On Yawm al-Qiyamah and in the afterlife, you're going to feel so much better because inshallah, you're going to go to Jannah. But obviously, if you're engaging in haram pleasures in this life and you're neglecting your Islamic duties because you're undisciplined and you're addicted to pleasure in dunya, you're not focusing on your deen, it's not my place to say because only Allah can judge you. But if you lose that sincerity and you're not taking action across Islam, as we know, that puts you at risk of going to Jahannam and facing a lot of accountability on the day of judgment, which means it's a lot more pain than the pain of just having the discipline. Jim Rohn, a famous secular self-help speaker and business guru from way back in the day, super old school, may Allah have mercy on him, he passed away. But, he said, an ounce of discipline weighs less than a ton of regret. I would rather spend an ounce of discipline than have a ton of regret. Well, an ounce weighs quite a bit less than a ton, so have discipline. Cool, let's dive back into the slideshow. So the last thing I want to say is if you need help with this, if you have questions, just drop a comment, or I'll also, inshallah, drop the description, join my free Facebook group for Muslim-specific issues that we face as entrepreneurs, professionals, and parents. If you're watching this in the group, obviously you're already in here, so feel free to drop a comment as well, and I'll answer it personally through Facebook Messenger or in the comments. And obviously, if you're on YouTube, you can either drop a comment or join the group or do both. That's the best case scenario, so I can support you in multiple ways, inshallah. If you got value from this, please share this with them so they can benefit as well. May Allah bless you for sharing the value with them and for helping me spread the message and the channel. And obviously, if you're new here, please subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already. And again, I'm here to help you. So any topic you want me to cover in a future video, just let me know, inshallah, and I can either answer it immediately in the comments or put together a detailed breakdown for you in an actual video. And then that's pretty much it. I want you guys to get benefit from this. So try it out, comment, let me know how it went. And inshallah, I'm excited to hear about your results. This is Munir Lazuni. Journal. It's going to be amazing for your success, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you. May Allah bless us all. And again, I'm here to help. So anything you need, just let me know, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.